welcome. And this must be Ferentz chair. Chair for a tall person here. We've got a phone book I can sit on. I appreciate that. Yeah, Norm's gaining ground. It's great having him in the stadium. He will not travel this week, I think we're probably anywhere from like 5 to 8 days, at least based on what I know, before he comes home. So it's we're gaining ground here, and it was great having him there. He was certainly enthused, and I think we're getting real close to him, coming back home, and the next step will be getting him in the office a couple hours a day, that type of thing. So we're gaining ground, but he won't be here this Saturday.
How do you think the unit performed when you went to those changes?
I think it was effective for us, and that really, I think the birth of that package, if you will, was Alma Bowl of 01. So there's a reason for it. The team we were playing was, a spread attack, and it's just one way for us to get some substituted personnel out there, and teams that have 5 receivers, all that type of thing. So it's just part of the package, and that's the good news. It's been effective for us. The bad news is it takes 4 backers instead of 3. And every time I look at our depth chart, we keep going the wrong way on numbers. So we'll have to see what we can do here. We'll throw something up on the board and see what it looks like. I think I said last week we actually planned on playing them 2 weeks ago and just didn't. So we got scripted out, but we again restated that point on Thursday in our meeting that we were going to get them out there and play them, and we did. I think for us, we're into whatever week it is now. We have 4 games to go here, so it's not like the Big Ten, right? The Big Ten's got 11 teams, sorry, 12 games. So anyway, we've played 8 games, but we're going to need him. Yeah, we're going to need him on the road here, and we'll just keep pushing him forward. It was a good outing for him. I mean, that was a varsity out there hitting him, and thought he did a good job in those circumstances. That was a tough situation. A lot of the time he was carrying the ball. They knew we were going to carry the ball or run the ball, and he had a couple nice runs negated by penalty. But well, hopefully he's really doing a better job in practice. He just missed time. That was the only thing. He missed that big block of practice time. So he's getting caught up, and we're going to need more than him too. So we'll have to keep bringing our young guys along.
As far as the history of it, I think it's just kind of an improvement-driven mentality. Some teams will get to a certain point and start to kind of, coast or slack off or anything. Week to week to week, we always talk about improving, about getting better, about the next week being the week that we put everything together. And we've had some good games. I mean, this last one out here was pretty good. But we go back and we look at the film, and there's still so many things that we can get better at. We're nowhere near where we could be. I haven't voted yet. I should probably do that, shouldn't I? Get on that. I don't know. Do I have to do that today, or can I do that tomorrow?
Yeah, I think you get till 9 o'clock. I think not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. Today I got to do that.
Everything gets decided today.
See, I got a lot of video games to play back home, and I don't know if I'll make it out. But normally, I don't know. I haven't been paying much attention to it this year. It seems like everyone hates what everyone else loves, and it's weird. Everything's turned around. I don't know what to think right now.
So the polarizing politics kind of gets...
The polarizing politics gets really old. I'm waiting for somebody who's going to run for president and pick a vice presidential candidate from the other party. I'll vote for that guy. But, other than that, everything's one extreme to the other, and I just really try not to pay too much attention to it.
And I didn't know, singing at Obama's, put you in the political spot.
Not so much.
Can you talk a little bit about James Morris and what he's been able to do as a true freshman?
Yeah, he's come in. He's done a great job. He's worked hard. He worked hard all camp, and he got a chance to play on special teams. Proved he could play on special teams, and then he's inserted himself at a very important position at middle linebacker, who, as a freshman, to control the whole defense. I said last week after the game, for a kid to come in and to stand in front of our defensive line as a true freshman, you think most kids would probably be intimidated, and he stands in front, makes all the checks to all those guys up front, and he does a great job of getting people lined up, and he played well on Saturday.
What was it like watching that play on film on Sunday when you guys were all got together and watched the film from Saturday's game?
I was kind of getting a hard time because in my mind during the play, like obviously it's totally different when you guys go back and watch it and stuff. It seemed like that Cunningham, Michigan State guy was a lot closer to me than he actually was, but he wasn't very close to me at all, and I just dropped it over the top, and luckily Micah caught it, or Phil would probably still be beating me up or something. I don't know what he'd do to me. I might not be playing anymore the rest of the season.
Was your first college catch at IU a couple of years ago?
Yes, it was. It was at Indiana.
And how do you remember that play?
I remember every part about it. It was a reroute. I believe Jake threw it to me, and I came out on the outside and put it in a good position out, and I failed. And right after that, I couldn't score a touchdown.
That's a big moment, though. Your first catch is in a college game because you had just made that transition to the wide receiver.
Yeah, it was definitely a big moment. At that point, you kind of start seeing that things you do in practice could actually turn out the way you want it in college football.
Coach jokes about you running the right way when you get an interception. Is that something he jokes with you about? He does it with us.
Yeah, he always talks about that, And last week when I got the interception, he said, "Well, you finally ran straight, but you should have cut it back." So from here on out, whenever I get the interception, I'm scoring it.
Okay.
After the game last week, as you were running out of the tunnel, there was a little boy you gave him a wristband. He kind of did a double take. He was like, "Oh, cool, I got a wristband." Then he looked up and saw who gave it to him, and almost jumped out of his skin. Can you just talk about that moment?
Well, it's always chaos when the fans rush the field, and sometimes they're more physical than the team when they're hitting you on the head. I mean, it's insane, but you try to get off the field as quick as possible, and you want to celebrate, but I'm not really big into celebrating. I don't know why, but I'm not. But one of the kids will ask for kind of a wristband, and we have a ton of those laying around. So I figured, yeah, he can have one. We'll just bother the equipment manager about getting a new one.
How about that lady who gave you one coming off the field Saturday?
Yeah,
what was that?
I don't know. She started yelling and said, "Can you wear this for my kid?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Do you have it?
Yeah, I do. Just try and ruin my day, it says. I don't know what it means or who it's for, but it's on my wrist. I told her I'd wear it, so I feel bad if I didn't have it on.